celebration with our guy, Pep. What's going on, Pep? Happy 4th of July, buddy.
Hey, you too, brother. Good morning. Good morning to all the KCAL rockers out there. Happy Independence Day. We're going to talk some America's pastime, some baseball in just a moment. But let's start with NBA free agency. Listen, I already had my popcorn ready. I knew it was going to be a show. It was going to be a movie out there as soon as free agency started on this past Friday. And it was. And we'll get to the Lakers in just a moment. But some of the big names that we're still waiting to see move right now is Dame Lillard. Not technically a free agent, but Patrick, in the midst of all this crazy NBA free agency and guys signing right and left, Dame Lillard of the Portland Trailblazers requesting a trade. He wants out of Portland finally. Where will he end up? Could the Clippers be a possible landing spot? It looks like the Lakers are not, because it looks like they're bringing the band back together again. We'll talk more about that in a second, but the big question is, where will Dame Lillard end up?
Right. It is kind of exciting to see. It does feel like he could end up in many different places. I don't ever remember knowing this much information about trades and stuff back in the day. Remember, they just kind of happened and went here or there. It seems like a bunch of these players, even like, look at Austin on the Lakers. I mean, It was like, are we losing him? Oh, no, he's staying. I've never seen, it feels like the players have a lot more options nowadays.
Oh, they certainly do. It's what they call like a players league, right? Like the players,
Yes.
they run the league. They're the face of the league. They bring a lot of money to the league. So they've got a lot of control in this. And if they want to stay with their team, like the Lakers, like Austin Reeves, they do it. But they can also demand a lot of money. Or, think about it, Patrick. We're about the same age. I don't remember guys, like in our childhood, demanding trades. Like whatever team you were on, dude, sorry, that's your team. Like that's who you play for.
Yeah, or you ended up going to a team that you didn't want to go to. I mean, the classic example is Mark Jackson went from the Knicks to the Clippers, and at that time, the Clippers were really bad.
Yeah.
And he said, I had to be the first one when he got traded to Indiana to be happy to get down to the Clippers and going to Indiana. Even that's the way it was back then.
Yeah, and they actually were good at Indiana, if I remember correctly. There were some good Pacer teams when Mark Jackson was there. But yeah, it's a different world right now in the NBA. So we all want to see where Dame Lillard's going to end up. There's reports that he wants to play for the Miami Heat. That's where he wants to end up. But again, Portland's going to decide, where he's going to end up ultimately. But, Kyrie Irving, he's staying with the Dallas Mavericks. We're still waiting to see what's going to end up with James Harden. James Harden could be on the move. He could be part of a big trade, a sign and trade deal. So NBA free agency has been fun. But if you're a Lakers fan, what you need to know is they're basically bringing all the guys back, and they added a couple other, role players, some bench guys, but all the guys that were free agents, like D'Angelo Russell, you mentioned Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, like they're bringing all of them back. They feel good about the guys they had last year, so much so that they're bringing them back to do it all over again, run it back.
Well, let's remember they kind of reformed and regrouped and came out as a new team after about halfway through. And they were like, you know what? We're playing a little defense here. We're doing a little shooting and stuff. It is a little bit different. So now they want to play a full season with the new squad. And who knows, man?
Yeah, who knows? A full season with this Lakers team, maybe it is. Maybe it is enough. Is it enough to beat Denver? That's what everyone's going to say at this point, right? Denver's the NBA champions. Is it enough? We're about to find out because, again, they're bringing the band back together. They're going to do it. Can AD stay healthy? Does LeBron still have enough gas in the tank? There's a lot of question marks. But, yeah, they're going to try to do it again. So that's the Lakers. Oh, and the Clippers, they made a move. They brought Russell Westbrook back. So Russ is back with the Clippers.
He does seem to fit in the Clippers motto the best, I think.
Yeah, he played well. He actually played well for the Clippers, especially when they were dealing with injuries, and Russ had to do a lot of things and kind of take over. So he's back, at least for 1 year with the Clippers. So
there you go.
All right, Patrick, let's talk a little Major League Baseball. We got the All-Star Game coming up July 11th in Seattle. The official rosters were unveiled last night. Shohei Ohtani, we knew he's going to be voted in, but he's going in as a DH, the starting DH. Also voted in as a pitcher for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. So he's the first guy to do both. He's going to be in the All-Star Game as a pitcher and a DH, man. The guy keeps... Oh, and he's the first one in Major League Baseball to 30 home runs. This guy does everything.
Right. He also, I remember this because the strike year happened. There's only 3 players who have hit 30 home runs by the end of June, and it's Babe Ruth, Ken Griffey Jr., and now Shohei Ohtani. I mean, I will never forget it in 1994 because I remember Griffey hitting the home run in Kansas City, and they said, "Oh man, put your name next to the Babe." And I was like, "Wow!" When Ohtani did it, I was like, "Wow!" And he's the pitcher, like you said. This is insane. He's on pace for nearly 60 home runs. Whoa.
Yeah, and maybe, or at least maybe in a handful of the top pitchers in all of Major League Baseball as well. Yeah, he's amazing. He's worth watching Angels baseball right now as they try to fight for a playoff spot. So he's a lot of fun. He's in the All-Star game. Of course, Mike Trout is in as well. For the Dodgers, you got Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, JD Martinez. Clayton Kershaw's back. Will Smith is going to be in the All-Star game. So, but if two other things, outside of the Angels, outside of the Dodgers, when you look at the All-Star game rosters, I know it's in Seattle, but their division rival, the Texas Rangers, who are having a great year, Patrick. I'll be honest. The former Dodger Corey Seager, the Texas Rangers doing well. They've got the entire American League infield except for the first baseman. So catcher, second, third, short, all Texas Rangers. I'm just wondering how that's going to sit up in Seattle when that's your division foe.
That does feel strange, doesn't it? That feels fan vote, but who knows?
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. In the National League, the Atlanta Braves, who are having a off-the-chart season right now, they've got 8 All-Stars, which leads all of baseball. So they're having a good year, and they got rewarded for it. I guess that's how it works, right? If you're having a good year, it's probably because guys are having All-Star seasons.
Yeah.
All right, let's make a little left turn and a right turn, I suppose, in this conversation to NASCAR, because they had their first ever street course in Chicago. Now, they've had road courses, right? That's on the normal Cup circuit, but their first street course in Chicago, and this was their debut, and a guy making his Cup debut from out of New Zealand, Shane van Gisbergen, Cup debut, Patrick, and he goes out and he wins the first ever street course race in Cup history in NASCAR.
Right, because we do know a little bit from like Watkins Glen and Sonoma and stuff that it is a little different on this road course. Some of those other guys do really well. Very cool. I also like this. First of all, it takes maybe a little bit different driver. And if a real NASCAR driver does win this race, that just gives them that much more props. What I do like, though, is look at Formula One. It's going to be in Vegas. Doing these road courses, this might open up a new arena for NASCAR to be doing city races. I think that would actually be pretty cool. I mean, imagine them doing the Long Beach Grand Prix, something like that.
Yes.
I mean...
No, I think you're onto something. I think it builds credibility for a NASCAR driver. If hey, I'm not just the oval guy. I can do the road course. Watkins Glen. We got Sonoma. Now street courses. Dude, can you imagine Las Vegas or you mentioned the Long Beach Grand Prix? That'd be amazing.
Right. People really like real drivers too.
Yeah.
A la Tony Stewart. Whatever you put him in, he can race it. You know what I mean? So I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think so too. A guy who lives in Temecula now, Boris said, he was a former NASCAR Cup driver, and he was a road course ringer, right? They'd bring him in for the road course, and he'd kick all the Cup drivers' butts because that's what he did. He was a road course guy, and the other, traditional NASCAR drivers, they just couldn't beat him. There's guys who are just good at the road course, but if you could find a NASCAR driver who could do everything, it builds their driver credibility. That'd be amazing.
I love it.
All right, and finally, just a quick shout out to our guy Rickie Fowler, the pride of Murrieta Valley High School, winning his first PGA Tour event since 2019. Patrick, it's been a long time. It was the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He was so close at the U.S. Open in Los Angeles. 2 weeks ago, and he just fell apart on the final day. So good to see him back getting a win on the PGA Tour, and hopefully this will kind of jumpstart things for him.
Well, I think so. I mean, even though you're right, he was doing so well a couple of weeks ago, it does kind of mean he's fighting for that top position, and here he is again. So hopefully maybe could be a little run for Rickie Fowler. I mean, being from our area, he's our very own. I mean, I can remember hearing about a young dirt bike riding phenom named Rickie Fowler who went golf, and I was like, wow, that is some talent.
Yeah, he kind of bucked the trend. He brought that motocross style to the golf course, and I want to see him do well, and hopefully you're right. Hopefully this is the beginning of a great run for Fowler back on the links.
Yeah, well, good luck to Rickie Fowler. That's why we have Pep, man. Always good to hear about local stuff like that. That's always one of my favorite things to hear about. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Hey, get my stuff on Inland Sports, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Inland Sports, YouTube channel. Go hit that subscribe button. USA all day. Happy 4th, Patrick, and all the KCAL Rockers.